Hi everyone, thank you for joining us. I'm joined here by Megan Bozarth, who is Assistant Vice President of Customer Program Development at DFW International Airport. So Megan, thank you so much for joining me.
Sure, thanks Holly, thanks for having me.
Firstly, I'd just like to open with how are things actually going at DFW with the recovery?
Yeah, great question. We're really excited to say that recovery is quite strong at DFW. We are exceeding pre-pandemic levels. This year alone, we've had 73 million passengers travel through our facility, and we're expecting 78 million next year. So quite a bit, and it's due in part to the strength of American Airlines, our largest hub carrier, and our partners. So we appreciate that. So just getting ready to be prepared and continue to warmly welcome our travelers as they come through our facility.
Well, 78 million passengers. Is DFW equipped to deal with passengers on that number?
We keep growing, right? we keep investing in our facilities. We've opened some new gates recently in the past, probably 2 years, a year and a half to 2 years. We've opened 4 new gates in one of our terminals, our international terminal, Terminal D, as well as 5 new gates in conjunction with American Airlines in one of our busiest terminals, Terminal C. So continue to invest, and we do have some other renovations and growth along the horizon so that we can continue to meet the demand.
Fantastic. Look forward to touching on those a bit later.
Sure.
And so how have you reassured passengers and rebuilt their confidence in air travel?
Yeah, sure. We're really excited that we've partnered over the last couple of years with the ISSA, the Cleaning Industry Standards, Global Biorisk Advisory Council, GBAC. And so what that has done is really put us on the map in terms of cleanliness standards around not only the aviation industry, but facilities around the world. So they do accreditations for cities as well as convention centers, sports stadiums, those types of things. And so we are the first airport in the world to be certified, and we continue our recertification every year. We've also invested in our facilities by putting UV light in our HVAC systems so that we can continue to provide that confidence as well as comfort to our travelers, as well as invest in touchless programs. We don't want to go overboard. We don't want to be what I say touchless, but not soulless, right? We still want to have personal touch, but things where maybe you don't have to touch something like boarding pass scanners, where you can scan your boarding pass and get your flight information very quickly, or mobile ordering on the go and have food delivered to your gate, those types of interactions.
So I mean, those passengers can see quite easily, but something like the GBAC and the UV light, how do you keep your passengers informed that you're doing this?
Yeah, no, great question. So a lot through the communication actually on airport. So we have a lot of signs, especially with our concessionaire facilities, that talk about if they're GBAC certified, or use other media throughout the airport that communicate what GBAC is and why it's an important part of the clean facility here at DFW. So hopefully the word's been out, and folks, not only through proactive media externally, feel comfortable about coming to the facility.
Great. Now, what passenger experience programs are you running at the moment?
Yeah, well, thanks for the question. I would love to spend hours with you on that, but I'll touch on a couple of ones that are really exciting right now. With the rebound of international traffic that's occurred at DFW as part of our rebound, just overall, we've been seeing a lot more influx of international travelers, and just quite frankly, a lot of them are not English proficient, and we want to go back and, as I mentioned, about warmly welcoming our travelers from around the world, be there for them to help them navigate a facility that's new to them, quite large, quite complex. So we've been working on multilingual signage at key points of the international connecting journey that we've installed, so that when a flight lands from a particular country, we can tie that to our airport operations database and display languages, the wayfinding information, so that they can feel more comfortable and maybe hopefully easily connect through their journey through the airport.
Fantastic. So do you happen to know then what's the, after English speakers, what's the second language spoken by passengers?
Sure, yes. In our area, in Dallas-Fort Worth area in the state of Texas, it's Spanish. But there are a lot of also Spanish speakers that are English speakers. So we tend to focus on some of the languages again where folks might be not as English proficient. So a lot of the I guess Chinese languages, Japanese, Korean, those types of things. So you'll see those most often on our signs, but we plan on welcoming anyone that's traveling.
And what is the most interesting challenge you're working on at the moment?
Sure. The challenge, I would say, and I think a lot of people are struggling with this as the economies rebound and passengers come back. There's been a struggle with receiving folks on airports and working. I think everyone's been challenged with labor. And so to add to that, we want to excel in customer service delivery, right, like most airports do. And so we encounter where we as an airport board are lucky enough to have about 2,000 folks, and we can work on being customer obsessed and exhibit that culture throughout the organization. But how do you get it to the other 60,000 people that work at the airport, the airlines employees, the federal agencies, stakeholders, concessionaires? They're still serving our customer, and we want to be a united, coalition, front, and really provide that best customer experience that we can as one entity. So it's really about how can we influence those that are serving our customers to do the best job in the way that we would like our customers to be served.
And your passengers, what is their demographic? Are they tech savvy and ready to embrace new digital ways of air travel, like for example as well contactless technology, or are they a bit more suspicious?
Sure. No, we're lucky enough. We do a lot of research on our customer. We found our average age of our customer, I'll say 43 years young. They're affluent and they travel about 4 times a year. But what we've also seen too in the state of Texas, there's been a lot of influx of movement of folks from other areas of the United States. Texas right now is fastly growing. Businesses are moving here, so we see a lot of folks moving and living in the area. We also see a lot of connecting passengers. So as much as we can do to educate on technology and new services in that realm to our local audience, we're seeing just lots of people that don't travel through a lot, as well as lots of folks that aren't used to our airport. And so I think adoption has been quite challenging. We want to continue to implement new programs, but at the same time, if there are if we're almost too far ahead and too quick to execute and do it in a way that we create good awareness and leave time for adoption, then we won't be able to serve our customers with us. So I think the technology is there. It's just how we implement it at the right time.
And what does your technology roadmap look like for the year ahead? What are you looking to embrace?
Sure. Well, we have a great 10-year strategic plan for our customer experience department that's just now launching, and operational transparency will be key for us over the next year. So if you think of brands out in the industry, you think like Amazon, and if you're familiar in the United States with some of the fast food places like the Domino's Pizza and Sonic, they do a great job of communicating the steps in the process when a customer goes through a purchase behavior. And so we want to model that. So we've done a great job already implementing, and I think a lot of airports have, the visibility for TSA wait times on signage and our website and mobile app. But we want to take that one step further and provide more of a holistic journey. So we're looking at providing operational transparency in areas such as airline check-in, perhaps, wait time and ride time on buses if you're a destination traveler, and other areas, so that the customer can see how long it takes at each step of their journey and then have more control through that process.
I love that. So I'm very, very familiar with Domino's.
Yeah, great. Yeah. And they do a great job of mapping like when your pizza's being put in the oven and all that. So, I mean, we're not a pizza place, but that kind of concept, right? The operational transparency, because it does, it gives the customer control, but it also eases their mindset, right? It makes them just more confident, comfortable with their travel journey, even if it's maybe not as short as they'd like it to be, but they know about it. So.
I know you have some fantastic news related to the opening of 4 new gates for your Terminal C and the benefits to your passengers. So why don't you tell us a little bit?
Yeah, I touched on that earlier. Thanks, Holly. Yeah, in partnership with American Airlines, we did open 4 new gates in one of our busiest terminals. And there's some really great innovation that went on to it. I'll start with the construction standpoint. This was a prefabricated concept where we actually constructed the modules off-site, the building structures, and then carried them on these trucks, and I think they were going, I want to say like a mile an hour, and moved them into the space inside the terminal and put them all together. And what that did is not only save on construction costs for us, but it also saved time. We finished 4 months ahead of schedule because you weren't going through all of the operational challenges of doing construction in a secure airport facility. So that was quite helpful. And then from the passenger standpoint, it's just a lot of new benefits that we launched in conjunction with American Airlines. We have large digital displays that are really encouraging folks to stay in their seats and have a comfort and mindset before they board the flight. So more information, more visibility to their process, to their boarding information, to the standby list before they even get to the gate. So they don't have to do that. They have all that information. Again, operational transparency, they have it in advance, as well as more comfortable seating. Varied, we were going beyond just the kind of rows of seats, hours to the seats. And then we also have a great And I'm looking ahead, and although you guys can't see, we have a great new glass that we've installed with our partner View, so that it automatically tints based on the lighting and the temperature. So the customer, not only is it an energy savings, it's more sustainable for DFW, but it's more comfortable for the passenger because it's reacting to the 100-degree Fahrenheit heat that we get during the summer in Texas.
Toasty.
Very toasty too, and we don't want our customers to be toasty inside our terminal. So, and then we just have a few new things from a concession standpoint. We're piloting Amazon's grab and go technology, where you just swipe your credit card, go in and pick up things and leave, and don't have to have any interaction on the way out.
Yeah, I saw that demoed here. Just walk out technology. Yeah. Sounds great.
Yeah, it's really great.
And yeah, your colleague John Ackerman told me about the amazing project, which was an amazing feat of engineering. You said that, what was it, you only had 7 inches to spare when you transported the gates across the runway under that sky bridge?
It did. I mean, I have to just compliment the architectural ingenuity, right? The engineering ingenuity to be able to do that, because one slight mistake in a calculation and then that wouldn't have gone as well as it did. But it is an amazing feat, and I think you'll see DFW and construction projects going forward utilize that same type of methodology. We actually are doing that from a restroom renovation standpoint. Restrooms are a high customer satisfaction driver, and we've been prefabricating restrooms and moving them into the terminals, again, reducing the time that it's not available to the customers while they're renovating it.
I also heard that a construction company secretly rented out some rooms to spy on this whole project.
Oh, did they? Is that true? They might have. I wouldn't put it past some of them, because I think that's a great way to learn more. But goodness, we're all trying to get ahead in the industry, huh?
Oh, I remember John saying they shouldn't have done that, because he would have happily shown them.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, you were pretty transparent. Yeah. I mean, I guess you could do that if you'd like, but we're one to share information about how we've done things.
So next question for you is, what is the next exciting development at DFW that we should be looking out for?
Sure, we will continue with terminal renovation, so there's exciting work being done and perhaps expanding Terminal A, as well as Terminal C, which I mentioned we opened 4 to 5 new gates. As we're looking at renovating that entire terminal. It's our oldest terminal that hasn't been touched in about 40 years, so it needs some TLC, but as well as expansion of that terminal. So hopefully we'll be able to add 9 new gates between these 2 facilities, and maybe some future plans as well. We do have a lot of land at our facility and room to grow, maybe from an additional terminals perspective. So hopefully that'll come soon. Again, we want to be able to meet the growing demand of our passengers and even exceed that. We also, from an air service perspective, and John would really appreciate this, we have some exciting new service coming up. We have service starting to Auckland, New Zealand on American Airlines, and Melbourne, Australia on Qantas. So we continue to expand internationally. We're really thankful from the commitment from the airlines in our marketplace.
Now, my final question to wrap up for you, Megan, is, well, I think you're an eternal optimist, but what's your business outlook then for the future?
Well, yes, I am an eternal optimist. The pandemic, I've lived through a lot through the aviation industry, definitely the pandemic. We've had a major recession in the United States, as well as I was working at DFW during 9/11, and so that was a big impact. So I do know the industry can change in a heartbeat, and we do need to be resilient. But I think that's what's great about DFW is our proactive planning in terms of being resilient, so that we can overcome any challenges that we see. From an optimism perspective, I'm so glad that business is rebounding, or air traffic is rebounding. We see a lot of leisure travelers, so I'm hopeful as we are here meeting at a conference that we'll see a bit more business travel resume. We were a pretty high business area destination or airport hub. So hopefully we'll see that as well, because I think that'll continue a trajectory of growth for DFW.
That was my last question.
Thanks so much, Holly. I appreciate the time.